Ulysses, the route back to Earth is wiped from my memory. The ship is now entering unknown space.
It's time for serial viewing! Hello and welcome, good evening. How is everyone tonight? Joining me as always is Jeremy.
Ulysses.
And Jennifer.
Yeah, hello. I didn't really know how to follow that. I was going to say, but I couldn't remember the next line.
How could you follow that?
Exactly.
It's no one else could do the things you do.
Oh, I always thought it was what I sang earlier, which I knew was wrong.
This week, we watched the 80s classic Ulysses 31. It ran from 1981 to 1982 for a total of 26 episodes and a single unaired pilot. To return home and restore his cursed crew, a great hero of space and his child companions must find the kingdom of Hades against all evil opposition. As always, we watched episode 1, titled Vengeance of the Gods. On his way back to Earth from the planet Troy, Ulysses happens upon a mysterious uncharted planet. A bright ball of energy invades the Odyssey and takes Telemachus back to the planet. The population is blind, but they kidnap children to sacrifice them, taking their energy and feeding into the Great Cyclops that helps them to see. Upon destroying the Great Cyclops, Ulysses is banished by the gods Poseidon and Zeus to the universe of Olympus, cursed to wander uncharted regions until he finds the kingdom of Hades. Only then will he be allowed to return to Earth. So it's the Greek tragedy, really updated to the 31st century. This was one of mine. I have very, very fond memories of this show from when I was young. I watched it slavishly. I'll let you know whether I think it stood up or not.
I'm curious.
No, I'm fairly certain Jennifer had heard of this one. Do you remember it from your childhood? Yes?
Yes, but I was working it out that when it came on, I would have only have been 5, 6.
Ah, you say that, but it was first released in 1981, but it was a French-Japanese production, and it was released in France first. It didn't make it until the UK until the mid-80s.
Oh, that would make sense then. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And the whole Japanese-French, yes, that totally makes sense too.
Jeremy, have you ever heard of?
Only from you, Henry.
Only from me. That seems to be the standard answer.
Only from serial viewing.
How? That's one of the great paradoxes of this show, because it is fantastic. And it is... If you remember it, you remember it. But nobody seems to... It's a very specific slice in time. There doesn't seem to be much going on about it apart from that.
Nobody's heard anything yet.
Yeah. I mean, this is ripe for a remake.
Well, I don't think it needs it, personally. But
well, usually I would tell you the plot of the show, but the really detailed plot at the beginning, geez, that's it. That's the whole episode. Telemachus is Ulysses' son, if you don't know the original story. It's a remaking of the Ulysses and the Journey of the Odyssey from the Greek tragedies. Is it a tragedy? Would you call it tragedy? A tragedy?
It's an epic, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's what is it? It's a classic. It's a classical story updated.
Classic.
Yes. Let's talk about the spaceships. I want to talk about spaceships.
Oh, Henry's nerding out already. You can see it. He's bouncing up and down in his chair.
The Odyssey is cool.
I think what I put here was this spaceship is pretty fucking cool.
See, it is.
It is pretty cool.
I mean, when they're coming out of the space, I think that was a spaceport there at the beginning, isn't it?
What, the
space station?
The Greek helmet, shaped like a space station.
Oh, I didn't see what.
Yeah, if you look at the shape of it, it is a classic Greek helmet.
I didn't see.
Which made me giggle.
But yeah, when they're leaving and it's coming out, and I was like, that's pretty freaking cool.
It's quite a unique. I love it because it's a unique design, and it doesn't look like. Yeah, it is essentially. Yeah. It's a unique design. It's not all like most like cool cartoon spaceships. It's not all sleek. It doesn't look like it should be able to fly in an atmosphere. It's just this big, odd-shaped, cool thing.
It's like a deep space Hulk.
Yes, that's a reference that only some people get. The reason it's that shape. I've got to get this right. Where is it?
Okay.
It was reason that shape. It was inspired by the logo of the channel that originally ordered the show, which was France 3, and it was part of the deal that they would help finance it if they could have the ship look a bit like the logo.
Wow.
If you are following us on Instagram or Facebook, I will find a picture and I will put both the Odyssey and the France 3's logo up there so you can compare, which I thought was kind of cool.
That's really familiar because obviously being in the French exchanges in the 80s and in the late 80s, early 90s, I remember seeing that on the French TV.
There you go.
That's pretty cool.
It is. It's a great idea.
Like that.
It's a good idea. Because the other ships in the show, I mean, they had that stupid little scooter thing.
Oh, yeah.
Telemachus zoomed around on, which is fine, I guess. It's a big ship. You need somewhere to get rid of it. The other ships that you saw, they were cool, but they were a bit generic. It was a bit,
yeah. I mean, we didn't really see much else, to be honest.
Well, there was the red shuttle thing.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called.
Looked like a bad guys thing.
It did, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. Is that the one that Ulysses drives and he's like, there's 4 seats and he's the only one in it?
Yes, but it can separate. It can go a bit like the
Fantastic Four.
Other shows where it happens. It can come. Yeah, there you go. It can come apart and then you can fly different sections.
Oh.
That's cool, but that's still cool.
Yeah. I mean, it was a cool looking ship.
Ulysses himself. Okay, so we'll get. This show was quite heavily influenced by a lot of science fiction of the time. So there's a bit of Space Odyssey in there. There's a bit of Star Trek. There's quite a lot of Star Wars.
Yes, there is.
Who does Ulysses remind you of?
Jesus.
Nope, try again.
No, that's who he reminds me of, so I don't know about anybody else. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi!
Oh, okay, right, I see.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yes. Jesus, then.
Jesus, yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I'd never thought about it before, but going into this, I was thinking about the influences, and he came on the screen and said, "Oh, it's Obi-Wan. Oh, he's got a lightsaber," which is also a ray gun. It's also a laser pistol. You didn't get to see that in this episode, but it's also a cool laser pistol.
Kind of a Star Trek thing.
He has a light sword.
Yes, a light sword, a saber made of light. So Ulysses is the strong, heroic, flowing hair. He's got a great fringe thing going on there.
Yes.
Bit of an epic moustache.
Epic, yes. Oh, moustache count.
Hey.
I think he gets bonus points because that's such an epic moustache.
Did anybody else have a mustache? Did what's his face in the beginning have a mustache as well?
No, I think someone at the birthday party at the beginning had one, but
his mate didn't it?
Yeah.
Not Colin.
Zeus did. Zeus did.
Zeus did, yeah.
Full beard.
He was more beard than God.
Yeah, he looked more like Dumbledore.
You shall travel the universe and 50 points to Gryffindor.
Yeah.
So, what did you think to the theme song, Jeremy, as our resident music head?
It was cool. No, it was freaking awesome.
I was going to say, that was a very unenthusiastic. Yeah, it was fine, I guess.
No, I put down that the theme song is fantastic because it is fantastic.
It is.
It is punchy and to the point and very catchy and awesome. It was To be honest, it was the prime inspiration for the new serial viewing theme. So
How was it?
yeah, that was the one I was listening to the most.
I liked the narration at the beginning because that guy's got a great voice.
Yes.
There's a lot of it, but it's still cool. That's fine. And then it goes into this kick-ass Ulysses.
I like the beginning. The beginning synthesizer is great. Like, it's great.
The score for a cartoon was used quite effectively. I don't know if you noticed, because you had some orchestral stuff in there. So you had a bit of classical. Then you had some proper 80s wailing rock guitar moments.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then there's a bit towards the end where Ulysses comes back from the engine room where he's been fixing the iris, and everyone's gone. And suddenly there was no music. There was no background music at all.
Yeah.
It was just echoing silence to, reflect his, oh no, I'm alone. Which I thought was pretty good. Actually,
also, the fight music, heavily inspired by Star Wars. I heard a lot of Star Wars in this music.
I'm glad you said that, because that leads me to one of my pieces of trivia.
Hey.
There was a court ruling against the international producers of Ulysses 31, which is Haim Saban. They were sued due to copyright infringement by Lucasfilm Limited.
Well, yeah. There was a bit that thought it was genuinely Star Wars.
Yep. The Q battle theme, or Ulysses Terrasse le Cyclope in French, had a cue directly from The Empire Strikes Back by John Williams.
Yes.
Heard on the soundtrack, as The Battle in the Snow. It was deemed that existing prints of the show could use this piece of music after damages were paid, but any subsequent soundtrack re-releases would later admit the theme, as royalties would have to go to their respective owners of that music. So yes, it was heavily stolen. I mean, inspired by Star Wars.
Yeah, even the instrumentation, I noticed it sounded a lot like it, and it immediately triggered in my mind that was from there. I mean, music court cases are hard, to sort out, so I'm impressed that they were allowed to keep using it.
The actual version used in the series isn't actually from the movie. It's part of the disco remix of the Battle of the Snow, taken from the 10-inch vinyl album Miko Plays Music from The Empire Strikes Back, which was released in 1980. So it was a remix of an original.
Oh. Interesting.
I didn't get that at all.
Did you
You're not nerd enough.
No, I definitely heard Star Wars with it. But I already knew about it before I watched the show, so I was actually listening out for it.
Fair enough.
This was as I said earlier, it was a French-Japanese production between Dick Audiovisual and the TMS Entertainment Company, which was a Japanese, like the Tokyo movie. It was an older company. TMS Entertainment had been first established in 1946. Those Japanese companies like to stick around.
Yeah.
The show was actually created by Dick founder Jean Chalopin. It was originally a French language, which you could tell because some of the dubbing, there were some of the sentences, because they were trying to keep, they didn't want any over them. They didn't want someone speaking when their mouth stopped moving or that kind of thing. So they were trying to jam the sentence in.
Yes.
So you'd get lots of, okay, we're going to go do this, and then we're going to do the thing, and then everything's going to be great.
Yes. All right, I literally wrote my fifth sentence down as, guys, please take a breath. Stop talking so much.
Obviously dubbed from not English.
Yes.
It was known in Japan as Space Legend Ulysses 31, and in France as Ulysses 31, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but only 12 episodes were ever aired in Japan, which seems a bit odd.
Maybe they're longer.
No, they're all half-hour episodes. Well, 24 minutes. Half hour with adverts. It was going to originally be a 52-episode epic. It was going to be the same storyline. They were just going to go to much more places.
Yeah.
But they only ever made 26 due to production. All I got was production difficulties. I'm making bunny ears around production difficulties. The only reason I could find was the original director a man called Tadao Nagahama. He was all lined up to direct the show, and he died after the very first episode was completed.
Oh,
And that kind of put a spanner in the works. And when it was first released, it wasn't terribly well received.
I find that with things that are well written, unless they're about real world problems, they're never well received. Never like extremely well received, you know. I don't know. It felt to me, this show felt like it was well written, like it was someone genuinely liked it. There's like, you can tell, like, we've watched enough of these kids shows that you can tell when they're cash grabs, when they're strange psychotic dreams, and when they're written by people who actually have a good concept and they want to embellish upon it. And
the passion.
Yeah, there was a lot of passion with this one, I felt.
Whilst I was doing some reading of this, I got lots of this is one of many pieces of art to be based on the original Greek tragedies, which I get, but I can't think of any other children's shows, cartoons, off the top of my head. It seems fairly unique.
Probably like the story, like the actual story just rehashed in a different characters and such.
Isn't like Jason the Wheeled Warriors, Jason and the Argonauts, and things like that?
Don't give Jason the Wheeled Warriors too much credit.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Jason the Wheeled Warriors was absolutely created to sell toys.
I remember Transformers being in ancient Greece.
I remember King Arthur on the track. Oh, wait, no, that was a shitty movie.
Which one?
There you hit the problem with the Transformers movie.
They're all right.
They exist. I'll give you that. There was a pilot episode made that was never aired. It was only ever. It was made in Japan and it was in Japanese. It wasn't recorded in French or anything else. It's never been shown on TV or released on a home video format. It had a different soundtrack and very, very different character and ship designs.
Really?
It looked a bit more like GoBots and stuff. It was very
Gundam.
I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they didn't stick with that.
Yes.
With what they did,
because I feel like they could have easily have gone into that sort of thing.
Yes. Yeah. It is online if you'd like to go and view it. It's in the original Japanese. I'm sure there's versions with subtitles out there.
I might do.
Speaking of which, I would be kind of interested to watch this in the original Japanese or French. And I'd also I don't believe what we were getting literal translations of what was being said. I think I'd be interested to know what they were actually saying.
I also don't believe that we were getting the whole of the cartoon either.
Yeah,
it felt massively chopped.
It did, but that's how they were originally released. They were made as half-hour episodes and released as half-hour episodes.
I feel like the story was consistent enough. I mean, I don't know why they would have. I guess it still counts as a pilot, but if it's a completely different story, because this is a good enough pilot. You know, I don't.
Yes, yeah. Although the only thing I found a bit jarring about this one is that the narrator at the beginning, he literally describes the episode you're going to watch, because that is the history to the show. That is the setup, and you're now going to go.
Would that have happened
the Cyclops
in the original first viewing of the first episode?
Yes. Yeah. Apart from the languages, it's not changed.
Okay. Maybe they just couldn't be asked to cut it off the first one.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't expecting to watch I was expecting to watch him already have done all that, and this was his first adventure.
I've watched this religiously as a child, and I still don't remember that first episode. I don't remember. Yeah, like you said, I was expecting just to go straight into his adventures.
Mysterious first episode.
So we've got Ulysses, who's awesome. So everyone's opinions of my son Telemachus.
Is it right?
It's just as a kid, we don't really get to see a lot of him.
I'm sure he has the Luke Skywalker arc at some point.
He's a bit like the kids from Thundercats and other children in cartoons. He's old enough to be brave and responsible, but he's still cheeky, I guess.
I didn't think he was
Yeah.
as annoying as a lot of them.
No.
Not that-
What did you think of the little robot?
No.
No.
yeah.
I don't know. Do you know what? I don't like comedy sidekicks,
Mhm.
but I disliked the girl more than I disliked him for that reason. She seemed more like a sidekick to me than the robot did.
Maybe because
No, she's got special powers. She's not
Yeah,
the sidekick.
I know, but I didn't dislike No as much as I thought I was going to.
No.
it was more of his voice
No,
that
no.
irritated me than anything else.
Do you know, I think that's one of the checklists when they're making these characters. Okay, goofy, funny, got to have an annoying voice.
Really, yeah,
Scharf.
like a brutal voice that young kids really get,
Yes.
or like intrigues them.
I want a cage fight between all of the sidekicks.
That escalated quickly.
It did. I want No in a cage with Schnarf and Urko from He-Man.
And what's her face from Jace?
Oh, what was her? Yeah, she can go. No, what was his name? The little robot.
Oh, yeah, but he was cool.
He was cool. We liked him. Yeah, we all kick ass then.
He was the best part
He's got
about
a
that.
lot.
I can't remember his name now. I'll find out.
It's gonna annoy me.
Yep.
Not remembering that.
Yeah. Well, they all had way more emotion and what did I put here? I can't even read my own writing. His wife. She's completely devoid of all emotion.
Wife.
Or miss it. The woman. The only woman in it.
Oh, on the crew.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
I
not
thought that was his wife.
His wife's back on Earth.
Oh.
Wow, you missed the bit at the beginning. If he doesn't return to Earth, he's been away so long that she can then divorce him or find a new husband.
Yeah. I got that, but I thought that was... Oh, I didn't realise it was because he's been away. I must have completely misunderstood.
Yeah, she's just part of the crew.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. That character, she was the most uninterested voice actress they picked.
Yeah.
Well, Nestor, his buddy that he kept talking to on the ship, there wasn't much to him either.
No. I mean...
These guys are going to all float off into the ship at some point, so we're not going to invest too much time into them.
yeah, literally, like, they turned them to stone. They're already pretty much stone at this point already.
Yeah. The computer, she had a really not
Sexy
memorable
voice?
no
Sensual voice.
familiar voice, but she didn't, her name didn't come up or anything when I was looking. But now I think about it, IMD has probably got all the original like French actors,
Yeah.
and so trying to find the English, who dubbed over the English.
Do you reckon that she was a slight inspiration for GLaDOS? along with Hal, you know.
Not psychopathic enough.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
It did make me laugh. So they go through the whole thing. They're getting sucked into the universe of Olympus, and they're getting sucked into a black hole.
Mm.
And then you got the wonderful animation effect of you can see the ship moving through space towards the black hole, and then Ulysses goes, "Maximum anti-attraction force, go!" Which did make me laugh. And then they literally move the picture of the spaceship backwards. You can kind of see it sliding across the background. It's like, oh, it's going backwards. Ooh, no, it's going forwards again. That was very funny. That did make me laugh.
Oh yeah.
Oon
Oon
rules.
Oon was his name. She has no idea.
Just say Oon rules.
He was the little knight.
No, what's he from?
In Jace.
Jason the Bird Warriors. He's the best thing in Jason the Bird Warriors, apart from the ending.
And the scene.
What's the annoying character that's supposed to be a relief in Dungeons and Dragons?
Uni.
Oh, that's it. That stupid unicorn.
Uni can go in the bloody cage fight.
Yeah. I hate that
versus
unicorn.
a unicorn.
We're not a fan of comedy sidekicks.
Unless they're voiced by great actors. Like...
unless they're Oon.
Yeah, or Oon.
Perhaps we should hold like once we finish this series and we've got a few under the belt. Perhaps we should hold like a cage match with like randomly pick people, and then we get people to vote on who would win a fight between the
tournament.
Two of them. And we have two. Yeah. Yes, that's the word. That's the word I was looking for.
Yes.
We should totally do that. I'd enjoy doing that, even if no one else would.
Henry would vote Ian to win always.
It depends who was up against. Who would beat him?
Mungo.
So what did you guys think of the animation?
Very 80s.
It was very 80s.
Yeah, it felt almost late 70s Battle of the Planets.
I was just about to say, that's why I thought it had some Japanese or whatever influence, because it was very Battle of the Planets.
It's got that really high detail but low resolution background stuff, like the ship, and then the cartoons are all like low definition, and like the juxtaposition is so massive.
It was very, very Japanese anime style. It was obvious that was a Japanese animation house.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought the animation was quite smooth.
Yeah.
So we've done the girl. Can anyone remember the girl's name? The little blue girl.
Cora?
I thought you just said what her name was.
No, I didn't say what.
Cora.
I don't know what her name is.
Cool. That's something. Hang on, let me find out.
And do you think she was there for the girls?
Yes.
Yeah.
You
already.
Do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No argument there. Okay, fine.
100%.
Yeah, no, I do.
Yes. Was she?
I see. I don't know. I assume that's what I thought. He's like, oh yeah, character for the girls.
But it's also setting them up because he's going to be trapped on the ship with the two kids and a robot. So
Yumi.
You've got to have that somebody.
Yumi. Yeah.
Yumi. You and me.
You have Ulysses, which is Yoroshizu. Teramachus, which is Teramaku. And Yumi, which is Yumi.
Yeah, so you've got to have something for, what was it? Teriyaki to... Telemachus to... No, I'm going to go with teriyaki, that's better. To bounce off of, to play with, to be a kid with.
I suppose, yeah.
But it's also... they're kind of like the same age. They're a boy and a girl. I don't know if that smacks of... Are we reminding somebody, who Obi-Wan had to look after?
He's the Luke Skywalker analog.
Yeah.
So he's an annoying shit who just wants to go to Tosche
and
Station.
then that's Leia. She's the one that's got the brains and the magic.
Yeah,
she's got very convenient powers to be able to transmit telepathy. She's basically a Cerebro. She can just make you send your brainwaves out to anybody you want in the universe, apparently.
Yeah, just start talking and I shall...
Yeah.
She has some other magic stuff as well. It's not...
She does. Well, she's a bit of a MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Later on, if they... Right, we've written into a corner, how are we going to get out of this? Oh, she can do that. She can make a hole appear in the wall. Brilliant, we'll go with that one.
Well, if you look at your characters, you've got your anti-hero, which is Ulysses, and then you've got the kid...
I don't know.
...who's his travelling thing, and then you've got your hero. Well, he doesn't want to be... He doesn't want to be there. Those bloody gods, they're assholes. Oh, yeah. He was defending himself against Poseidon's stupid octopus, and then...
Cyclops.
No, but it's an octopus. When it comes out, it's all the legs.
Like
Did you not see that?
Octopus.
I suppose... Yeah, actually, no. Yeah, you're right. I take that back.
That's why I was like, oh, he's an octopus. Now I get the Poseidon.
Yeah, but Cyclops was made by Poseidon.
Right. Wasn't he one of his sons?
They were all... Yeah, probably...
It was all incestuous.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about it is that Zeus was so horny that he would regularly travel down to Earth and then seduce women in various forms because he couldn't just rock up as a man. So he'd go down and turn himself into a magnificent white bull and have children with some woman.
Yeah.
So Greek women. Whoa, look at the horns on that. Whoa. Oh, geese. Yeah, you're all sick and twisted, ancient Greek women. Or is it just because he's a god?
Oh, there's...
Or did he go down there and... He went down there and he's like walking around with his hands on his head like horns. He's like, I'm a bull. And they all know... Yes, Zeus, yes, you're a bull.
Please don't kill me,
Zeus is
small
back.
village.
Yeah. Yeah. Fine, let's go behind the haystack. Yes, you totally look like a bull. Yeah. Haha, they will never understand who I am. Whoa.
In Homer's Odyssey,
Sorry, I interrupted you.
they are an uncivilized group of shepherds, the brethren of Polyphemus, encountered by Odysseus.
Right, yeah, sorry. Homer wasn't the person on it. Homer was the one relating the stories. I got confused for a second.
And I got confused because they did a Homer's Odyssey for The Simpsons, and I thought he was talking about Homer Simpson. Not.
That's what he is named after.
Real
though.
Homer.
So uncultured.
But in a for a reason, I can't remember why. But yeah.
I have found this really, really cool picture
Of
them.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll put that on.
It's kind of visible.
Oh.
I'll put this up on. If you send that to me.
If you're listening to this, I'm sure this is fantastic content for you.
Listen to us as we show each other pictures.
It's very Dune-esque.
Oh yeah. To be honest,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my god,
a
yeah.
Dune style that would make Henry literally wet the bed.
Oh, I would. Yeah.
Yeah, live action Ulysses 31 would be pretty cool.
Well, you were talking
So
about how you feel like this is crying out for a remake. How would you do it?
Denis Villeneuve, who's making the new Dune, and just make it like that. Give it to him. Tell him to run for it. It would be amazing. Maybe throw some Guillermo del Toro in there to do the creature design.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Yeah, those two need to get together and make a Ulysses 31 100-part series.
Amazon series.
Yeah. Hour long each. It'd be amazing. I'm there.
The Odyssey. I don't know. I feel like this, because it's based on something so familiar, but like, I don't know. It's slightly childish in its take of it, which is okay, and it serves its purpose as a cartoon. But I feel because it's like The Witcher, super grown up, and you could make a grown up version of this now, but I feel like a lot of people would still complain because it worked so well as a kids show.
Love like dark and gritty.
It would be cool.
I say that every time we mention a remake. I say that, but I would love. It would be amazing with a proper scary robot squid cyclops thing, and we haven't talked about the cultists.
Oh yeah.
The people that worship the Cyclops. So the Cyclops kidnaps the children. The worshippers of the Cyclops kidnap the children because they're going to offer them up as sacrifices to the Cyclops, who will suck out their essence. I don't really think. And then use it to give his followers sight, because they've got no eyes. There's just a crystal where their eye, one crystal in the middle where their eye would be, and he kind of bestows his power upon them, and they can all see. Apart from that, they look like goblins. I don't know what they would like to look at each other for, but yeah, and they're obviously evil because they
wear dark cloaks and hoods over their heads.
That, and they kidnap children, which is quite sinister.
They're just bad.
They are bad. There's no redeeming quality to them. I like a slightly more nuanced bad guy.
Okay.
For the remake.
I did find out that the one that he encounters in the Odyssey is the son of Poseidon.
Yeah, there you go. I thought it was.
Just that one specifically.
As bad guys go, I think. Well, it didn't really do anything, did it?
The Cyclops.
It
was a tripod.
There. Yeah, it was just kind of there, and it shot lasers out of its eye. Now the size of that thing. So he goes down there to rescue them, and he takes Nono with him, because why wouldn't you take a small toy robot with you? And then it's firing all its powers at Ulysses, but he's got his laser shield out and he's hiding behind it. And he's like, oh! And Nono's he goes to get something, I can't remember what it was, a probe of some sort, and he gets the radar dish on it. And the Cyclops is like zapping laser beams at this little robot. Now, the size of the Cyclops and the obviously inherent power that it's got, because it controls like this planet, and it can't zap a small robot.
Nah.
Because in the end, in the end, he then redirects its power. It catches it in its like little satellite dish, and redirects the power back into the Cyclops' eye, and he defeats the Cyclops that way. Surely, if it was that powerful, that laser beam would have just melted the thing and fried. No. I mean, it wouldn't have made the show particularly interesting because the robot would have died.
Yeah, that's kind of what I feel like. I'm pretty sure that's like reflective of. It's kind of a telling on like the Greek style of things, you know, using its power against it, that sort of Medusa style. I'm fairly certain something like that happened with the Cyclops as well, didn't it? I don't know.
No, that was Medusa.
Yeah, Medusa did it.
The mirrors.
Too. He showed his mirrored shield, and she turned herself to stone.
How does?
But the reason why he couldn't get No is because he was small and fast. It's like when you say, oh, you know, when he's shooting a machine gun. And you're like trying to get something. If it's small and fast and you're far away, you're always going to miss it, aren't you? You'd have to be really clever, and with a sniper rifle, you could get it.
That just means you're not using enough bullets. Victory through superior firepower.
Well, obviously his wasn't superior.
Well, yeah, this is what I mean. He can't be that powerful if he gets taken out by a small novelty toy.
Well, it's not a novelty toy. It's a robot.
It popped out of a cake. It's a novelty toy.
Is that the same for girls when they pop out of cakes? Are they novelty toys as well?
Yes. Why are they popping out of a cake if they're not? They're obviously a novelty.
Well, yeah, they're a novelty.
Maybe not a toy. I did write down that the Cyclops is kind of ugly, and I love it.
It was stupid.
It is a bit dumb.
It was great,
but I kind of
it's stupid. Yeah,
like how intense it was.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was cool.
I liked that after it shot its laser or whatever the first time, its eye got all bloodshot. I was like, oh, so it's using up its power.
Yeah.
Then he has to suck some out of one of the kids.
I mean,
sounds grim.
I appreciate the.
I was also a bit confused. Why did her brother is obviously not a child, so why is he there?
I think he's an old child, like 14 or 15.
All right. How old do we reckon Telemachus is? 14, 15?
No,
I would have said
13,
10 or 11.
Yeah, 12. I'll go 12.
I wouldn't say 10. Slightly, maybe between 10 and 12. I'll give you that.
We're talking about 1980s 10-year-olds, not now.
We're also talking about ancient Greek
and space.
Yeah. 10-year-olds of old were not 10-year-olds like you get now, little babies.
No. All right. So Yumi was what, 6, 7?
No, I probably would have said she was a bit older. She was about 9.
I don't know. She got the hots for Telemachus, so.
Yeah, I think there's only maybe a year or two between the two of them, if that.
Oh, no,
if they're not the same age, I'd be surprised, because he's a boy, so he's going to be taller, and she's a little alien girl, so she's going to be smaller, but she's going to be more mature because she's a girl.
So working on those, then that makes Yumi's brother, Blue Boy, 16?
No, see, I would have put him at least 18, 19.
No, I'd say he's 15.
That's why I didn't get why he was there, because he was not a child. They weren't going to get much essence out of him because he's already got it out of himself.
Teenage boy.
Exactly. That's where I was going.
He's a teenage boy. He's full of essence, unfortunately.
Can't get rid of it.
Exactly. He's got it out of him. Oh, shut up.
I forgot to say, somebody sent us a message.
Did they? Sorry, my face is exploding.
I know. I was just waiting for that to end. Somebody got in contact via Facebook. Hello, Alison.
Hello.
How are you? And she just thought it was funny how Jeremy manages to. He's really adamant about the decline of modern music is tied to 80s pop music. She thought that was funny. She obviously watched Gem and the Holograms or listened to the Gem and the Holograms episode. So thank you, Alison. If anyone else wants to drop a little comment in and tell us how obvious Jeremy's being about his musical tastes.
Hey, I didn't say I didn't like it.
You said he's responsible for.
Yeah. It's just the truth.
Did anyone notice that at the end, Now, I will say that I reasonably confident say I've watched all 26 episodes of this. And in the end credits, it was a 3-panel thing. You've got some like planets and things and space, and then you've got a weird color, and then you've got No and some robots marching. And I remember it. I wouldn't have remembered this until I watched it, but I remember being really frustrated as a kid because at no point are those robots in any of the shows. And it was really frustrating that where do they come from? Why is he marching with them? What is the point of this? I want these robots. Where are the robots?
Oh, yeah.
No, I was the only one that knows that.
No. I
didn't see those.
They weren't in the first episode. I assumed they would be in another episode.
No.
It's okay. They look really dumb, and I hate the part of the song that has them singing in it. It really irritates me. Can't stand his voice.
No.
Ha.
No. I was massively surprised, and please, if anyone out there can prove me wrong, I couldn't find any video games for Ulysses 31. I couldn't find any board games.
Did you notice that someone was remastering it on YouTube?
Yes, I did see that. No board games, no video games. If anyone would like to prove me wrong, please tell me, because I would love to have a look. There was inevitably a toy line released by a company called Poppy Bandai, who I assume are a subsidiary of Bandai. They did a line of boxed action figures in 1981, which covered the Odysseus crew, and they followed up with a line of smaller figures on blister packs, a la Star Wars, in 1986. They also released a really cool, and I wouldn't mind owning one, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, some die-cast metal spaceships, including the Odyssey. And it was probably about 6 inches across. It was cool.
You have a 3D printer, Henry. Can you not print one?
I do.
Did you not have any of these toys?
No, I did not.
That's a surprise, because you had all of the toys.
I would have been about 10 when this came out in the UK, and that was He-Man.
Right.
Star Wars and He-Man. I had all of the He-Man figures. I had a Castle Grayskull. I had the cats. I had the vehicles. I had everything.
I found some artwork for a Ulysses 31 MSX game that never existed. But it looks really cool. It's like concept art for the show.
It would be a great game.
Like it's in a really Japanese style. Yeah.
It was a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
There was Ulysses 31 was a French language comic book which was released in the same year that the show came out, and it is just the continuing adventures of, in a very classic style. And then Littlehampton Book Services Limited, who I joked about because they published Mary, Mungo and Midge stuff back in the 60s. In 1985 released a hardback illustrated storybook, which is a bit of a collector's item, and I'm about 35-40 quid for a book today. But this leads me into the point. So it's an iconic TV show. Anyone from my generation, or not anyone, but a reasonable proportion will remember the song. Oh yeah, the space. They'll remember it. Okay. No one else seems to have heard of it. I always spend some time and I get some trivia and I have a look and I just have a reading on the show. There's nothing out there. Usually I just do a search for, for example, Ulysses 31 comics. Mm-hmm. And then I will find a website and I'll do some research on that and I'll roll this. Apart from eBay listings for actual comics, I could find no information. Nothing. As even the toys, there's whole toy websites set up for, and they list the part numbers and category numbers. I couldn't find anything. I could find no information on these toys. It was really strange. Please, if anyone out there has any info on this, please let me know, because I would love to read about it.
Perhaps it's slightly more,
it's a little strange,
more French orientated, because
But I would still expect to find they have websites in France, so I'd expect to find this stuff.
But the way that Google works, it won't offer you French stuff because you're speaking English.
This is true. I mean, I even tried the French spelling of it. I tried all kinds of stuff, because France is a big comic book country. It's a big thing over there. So I wasn't surprised to find it over there. But yeah, there's just not a lot of information out there. And then it kind of appeared was really cool, was really influential, and then just disappeared to live on in the memory of people who watched it, which I find really strange.
Yeah. I preferred this getting a redo of a series on Netflix rather than He-Man.
So, He-Man was of a time. We don't need to see any more of it. I follow a Twitter account called Grumpy Skeletor, which is just him slagging off He-Man. Basically, it's brilliant.
That's great.
So, would you recommend this, Jeremy? Would you recommend this? So you're sat around with your friends, and this came on. Would you bully them into watching it?
Now, my housemate is from Italy, which you guys know. I'm gonna pull him out here. My housemate's from Italy. In Italy, I think I've mentioned this before on the show, but they're about 10 years behind, or nearly 20 years behind in the shows that they show to kids, at least, like cartoons, because they buy the stuff afterwards.
When it's cheap.
He's the same age as me, and he grew up on the 80s cartoons, like way older than I did. So he knows He-Man, and he knows Thundercats, and he knows a lot of the stuff we've covered already. I think Jason the Wheeled Warriors he knew.
So
he didn't know this.
So what you're saying is he had a great childhood.
Yeah. He didn't know this.
But he didn't know this. Yeah, see, that's what this is what I mean. It kind of came out, it was really big, and it was just...
Yeah, because I've even showed him the theme song. He's like, this sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't think I've ever watched it. Like, possibly. But no. I might show it to him.
I think you should. I'd love to know his reaction. But would you recommend this to someone?
Only if they were a child of the 80s, yeah. Like,
Jennifer, would you recommend this?
Yeah. Yeah, probably if I had some mates who'd got... I don't want it to sound sexist, but I mean, well, if they've got some girl... If they had a girl that was a bit more like... less Barbie,
right?
But more into sci-fi.
It's okay,
and
you can say
stuff
that.
A bit
You're
more.
a girl.
Yeah. And same with a boy. You know, not all boys are into sci-fi. Some of them like tractors and stuff. So, like, but you know what I mean.
Some like.
So
tractors.
if I knew that they had. So yeah, and if they had kids that were like into sci-fi and cool things, and they'd like perhaps already watched Thundercats and thought that was really cool, or they've watched something along those lines, and yeah, I'd say yeah, you should check out Ulysses 31. I think you'd like it. But I think I'd probably have to think about who it was.
I do think that probably a boy more than a girl, but. That, you know, I still think a girl could enjoy this, and I think if they're around the 12 age mark, 12, 11, that would be great. This, you know, around the same time that this is going to start watching Gargoyles.
I think this should be a required viewing along with Nightmare, Trapdoor, and Gargoyles.
in that order.
I definitely can see groups of 20-something uni students all stoned out of their skull watching this at 2:00 in the morning.
But
I'm thinking it was freaking amazing.
You say that about every show, though. As much as I say that I'd like to dark and gritty remake.
To be honest, though,
a bunch of 20
she's
stone.
not wrong.
I didn't say about Mary Munger and Midge.
Sure you did. I want a dark gritty remake of Mary Munger and Midge.
Yeah, you wanted one where she was actually the son of the daughter of Satan.
She's actually the child of
the Antichrist.
She's actually the Omen.
Yeah.
So let's rate this. I'm interested to see how you guys rated this show. So out of 10, what rating would you give this, Jennifer?
Probably a 7.
Okay. That's quite high.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed watching it. I'd probably enjoy watching the rest of them. It's got a lot of that is because the theme tune is freaking awesome.
We have been singing it all day in the last couple of days. And I'm sure we will carry on tomorrow.
Ulysses. Yeah. So 7.
7.
For me.
Jeremy.
7.89749.
So 10. No.
Yeah, 7.8.
7.8, I think.
8.
Sure?
Yes. I've changed my mind. I want 8 now. I enjoyed it. Why not?
Why not is not a good enough reason.
I say why not in the sense that it like there's very few flaws with it apart from it's a bit cheesy at points, and no is annoying.
See, I didn't find him annoying.
He wasn't the most annoying we've encountered so far in the show, like of
He's not as annoying as Uni.
No, well I didn't mind her.
Well, we have
fair. She didn't say anything.
She really didn't. She was just kind of
yeah.
There. Well, I'm giving it a 7.1. So we've all agreed.
I gave it higher than you.
You did, yeah.
Oh, whoa! I didn't even like it.
There was.
I thought this was your favourite.
Well, it's not Nightmare.
You give Nightmare like an 11.
Can I do that? Gotta go back. Well, so that gives it a rounded average between the three of us. That gives it a rating of 7.4, which is that's going to put it up there. That's top 3, top 4 level. That is. Any other thoughts, comments on Ulysses 31?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
Apart from gods are bastards, but
yeah, but that's the essential truth of Greek mythology.
I appreciate that.
The gods are bastards.
I like the idea of the gods being in control of more than just Earth and being like not bound by Earth; they're in space instead, which is much bigger.
I think it was great.
Yeah,
it was a wonderful idea.
But can I ask a question? Is this still set in our universe, like our world?
Yes,
because
31st century.
But like, he says like, so they have Troy and they have Telemachus and they have everything specific. It just so happens that history repeated itself because he said like Greek gods. What? This is the 31st century. It's like, have they always been a thing? Like,
no. His
context?
surprise. I think his surprise was like, but they're the Greek gods. They all know about the Greek gods, despite it being the 31st century, and can recognise them on sight.
Yeah. Hey, Zeus.
I think it was just I think it's our universe just Greek godded up. I don't know
Slightly
how to
altered,
put it. That was Ulysses 31. And it's going to be our next episode is going to be a mystery because I forgot to look at the schedule before we started. So we'll let you know, but join us for the next one. As we're watching these shows, all three of us make notes, and I put those notes up on our website under the blog section if you'd like to go check them out, and you can see our raw, unfiltered thoughts as we're watching it. My favourite one from Mary, Mungo and Midge was it just says, "Cheeky mouse, old man Doug, Mary is stoned." Which I think was one of yours. It was one of Jennifer's, yep.
Yeah.
If you'd like to take a look at our show notes, they are on our website on the blog section, along with our back of the box cards, where we rate those. We rate the shows a bit more in depth in our YouTube after show. So head over there and have a look. If you'd like to get in touch, you can do so like Alison. Thank you, Alison. Via Facebook or Instagram or on our website, or leave us a voicemail. I'm going to keep saying this, people, until you start talking to us.
Yeah, come on. We've nearly got 1,000 views.
Yes, we have. We're listens.
Listens, sorry.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Jennifer.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jeremy.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. And we'll catch you on the next time. Bye.
Bye.
Ulysses.
Ulysses.